So my next introduction is going to be kind of short, mostly because I couldn't think of anything funny to say. But I would also like to shamelessly promote the Abbe Museum, which is where I work and co-sponsor of this event. If you aren't doing anything tomorrow night, we are having a panel discussion titled Zibel Wabanaki, which is Wabanaki Waterways, at the Abbe Museum at 6 o'clock, and we will feature a panel with one person from each of the 5 Wabanaki members at the Abbe Museum at 6 o'clock, so you're welcome to come to that. Without further ado, here is our final presenter, Rich MacDonald with Birds, Ice Cream for the Soul.
You ready?
I feel anticlimactic after that presentation. And I missed the earlier ones because I was seeing my daughter's kindergarten concert at Connors Emerson. So, but, yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, go.
So since I was a kid, I was really interested in birds. I was one of these kids, my mom said I would go outside, I'd talk to trees, I'd talk to birds, and didn't have any other friends except for non-human creatures. And, but I was really happy, so it's okay. And I'm still really happy. So one day a guy came to our house, knocked on our door. He was from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I grew up in Western New York. And he said, do you know where your house is? It's good for banding birds. To my dad, can I band birds or can I band ducks? And I said, sure, as long as my boys can help. So I started banding ducks when I was 8 years old. Been banding birds and studying birds ever since. One of the great things about birding is it's just a really all-encompassing passion. It can be a hobby, it can be a job, it can be both. You can travel to cool places like the Sierra de Bajaruco in the Dominican Republic and study bird, and we trip people on major donor trips for groups like the Nature Conservancy. You get to have fun taking people out in the shore path in Bar Harbor and get to do kind of cool things. This was a group of, some of you might be in the audience, some of you certainly recognize people here, and it was for the National Geographic television that we were out there hoping to become famous. Didn't quite work out that way. So what I like about birding, and I use birding as a ubiquitous term for everything to do with birds. Studying birds, watching movies about birds, watching special effects movies about birds. But it's all encompassing. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can ban birds. Here we are banning birds in the Dominican Republic. You can just share your passion with other people. Again, I've done a lot of work in the Dominican Republic, so you'll see a lot of those slides. Here's one of the rangers in the Sierra de Bajaruco, and we were studying a bird called Bicknell's thrush. It breeds in the mountains of the northeastern U.S. and winters only in the Dominican Republic. And so these people were curious, why are all these guys with binoculars there? You get to do cool things like go to Antarctica, which I did this past January. And I know some of you follow me on Facebook, and I was posting pictures just about every day. And it's just because I made a career of this, and, I'm not going to say how old I am, but I'm pushing the half-century mark, and so I've got 30 plus years of background in this, and people are getting to know who I am, inviting me to places like this. When I went to the Antarctic, my daughter said, Daddy, you're going to Antarctic, you're going to see penguins. What kind are you going to see? So we got out the field guide, we started looking at penguins, and for some reason, the macaroni penguin, she just thought was the funniest thing. It's also her favorite food. But, so she drew me a macaroni penguin, which I used in my slideshow. Some of you know my wife, Natalie Springle, and some of you know the fact that Natalie and I, in 2002, went on a 5-month sea kayak expedition. And Natalie, if she was here, would be so excited to see that I'm actually going to tell the honest story that she identified a bird that I incorrectly identified. So you can constantly learn. I've had great fun going on cruises with Garrison Keillor. I'm sure a lot of you have seen him. Maybe some of you are going in July to see him in Bangalore. But on stage with him, he's chartered a cruise ship. Came to Bar Harbor twice and gone out to other places around the world, and he's hired Natalie and me to be his cruise naturalists. And how cool is that to go on stage and just be a goofball like I normally am and talk about birds? So, birds are great fun, but there are some real things to think about. And this is where I kind of go for a few slides into the preachy mode, and I'll get back to fun. We've seen land conservation issues arise. Birds are a great focus for that. All the green is forest, all the yellow is developed areas. And habitat loss is a big threat to birds. Cell phone towers, communications towers, any kind of tower, and I include skyscrapers in that, they're a big threat to birds too. There was a study done that in 2009, they estimated about 2.8 million birds were killed by towers in just the United States. 2 slides here. The left one is 19. I can't quite make out the dates on top. I think it's 1999 and 2009, I believe, on the right. The dots represent the number of communications towers spread across Maine. And across the whole U.S., we have 84,000 towers. Everybody loves cats. I put this in because I knew it was like, oh. Please, I'm begging you, please keep your cats indoors. There's a reason for that, and that's going to come up in a moment. I've had cats in the past, so I'm definitely a cat lover, but cats do eat birds. Gary's eating northern mockingbird, I believe. And I've had people say, oh, my cat never brings home birds. And so there's been studies that have shown that in the United States alone, 6 billion birds are killed by cats. And now most of those, a large percentage of that is feral cats. So that, I'm not going to get into that, but the whole discussion about should we have feral cat colonies or not. But not all is doom and gloom. We can do things. We can save the planet. We can save the whales. We can save the earth. We can save everything. And you guys can all do it one step at a time. There's, down in the Dominican Republic, there was an issue where on the border with the Dominican Republic and Haiti, the Haitians are so poor and they've cut down so many of their trees that they're encroaching the Dominican Republic. An area the size of Connecticut has been denuded by Haitians in this area in the Dominican Republic. So these guys are going and planting the trees. And the Nature Conservancy has said, our biggest threat to the Dominican forest is clear cutting, but the solution isn't just to put up a fence. The solution is, let's educate the Haitians, let's tell them why it's important, let's help them plant trees in their country. Cell phone towers, we could get rid of towers, we put these things on top of the pole up there, these little satellite cell phone translators. You could put cats on leashes. And I have a friend that does that. It is the funniest darn thing to see my friend Lynn walking her cat. And she's proud of the fact that her cat is an outdoor cat, is always on a leash. But this, the upside is it's good for the birds. And I think the cats, we have a cultural thing, we have to decide how do we kind of span generations to get there. I think this is my last slide, and birding is great. I love it as a passion, I love it as a vocation, avocation, and it is definitely ice cream for my soul.
Thank you, Rich.